Hi everybody, it's Ms.Salazar speaking and welcome to Reading. Today I want you to identify the beginning, middle, and end of a story. The beginning, middle, and end of a story. But first things first, this is a high frequency word. This means that this is a word that you're going to be using a lot in everyday conversations. We use it a lot, but we don't really notice. And it's the word around. Around. When something is in every direction. Around. For example, some flowers are all around us. You could say people are all around us. Or you could say trees are all around us. But the word around means when something is in every direction. It's in front of you, it's behind of you, it's next to you, it's everywhere, it's in every direction. And the essential question for today is, why is the order of events in the story important? Why is the order of events in a story important? And we discussed this. So the sequence of events is the beginning, middle, and end of the story. The sequence of events is the same thing as saying the order of events. They're both the same thing. For example, let's say that you wear your socks first before putting on your shoes, the way you're supposed to. But why is that? Why do we have to put our socks first and then our shoes? The reason why we have to wear our socks first is because it's going to protect our feet from getting blisters. It's going to protect our feet from rubbing against the inside of the shoe. When you're wearing your shoes and you're not wearing any socks, this is what could happen to you. This right here. You can create blisters because you're not wearing any protection. So the socks are there to protect your feet from getting blisters. That's why we have to wear them. And that's why we have to wear them first and then we wear the shoes. Now remember, right now, this has to do with the sequence of events. Because first, you have to wear your socks, and then you have to wear your shoes. There's a sequence to it. First, the socks, and then the shoes. Remember, sequence of events. There's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. So, in other words, there's an order to things. There's an order to do things. Let's go on with the story Henry and Mudge. Let's infer or predict. Now, when I say infer or predict, it is to use clues to figure out more about a story. You're going to use the clues to figure out more about a story. Now, the word infer has a little speaker right next to it. And that little speaker is going to help you hear the word out loud again and again because it will help you pronounce the word. And on number 2, you have the word predict. And the word predict also has the little speaker next to it. And that little speaker will help you pronounce the word predict. Okay? So remember, when we say infer, predict, that is to use clues to figure out more about a story, to know more about the story. Let's look at the cover for Henry and Mudge. What can we infer from the cover? Look at it. Observe it. Remember, when you observe, you're looking at something very carefully. You're looking at the details. What can we infer from the cover? We see a boy. He's running towards a dog, a very big dog. They look happy. They look like they know each other. Okay, interesting. So, I detect a possible friendship between a boy and a dog. I don't know about you, but that's just me. that is what I'm inferring. That is what I'm getting from the cover. There's a boy and he's happy. A big dog. He looks happy. He's running. He has his tongue out. So I think that this is possibly a friendship between a boy and a dog. I don't know yet because I haven't read the story. But this is what I can infer from the cover. Infer. That is the voice for the word infer. Predict. And that is the voice for the word predict. Let's do a think aloud. It says, realistic fiction stories tell about things that could happen in real life. Interesting. Realistic fiction stories tell about things that could happen in real life. Let's go back to this word. Realistic fiction. Realistic fiction. So the word realistic comes from the word real. Realistic, it's real, okay, from real life. But the word fiction means fake. The word fiction means fake, and the word realistic means real. Those are two very contradictory words. Realistic fiction. But let's keep reading. It says, I know this is a story about a boy and a dog, and that sounds like something that could happen in real life. This story could be realistic fiction. Interesting. Okay, so realistic fiction. Realistic means that it's real. Fiction means that it's fake. But realistic fiction stories, when you put those words together, that actually means that there's a story and the story is fake, right? The characters in the story, they're not real, but what happens in the story could actually happen in real life. So I think that's why it's called realistic fiction. Because these stories, even though the characters, the people in them, they're not real, but what happens in the story could actually happen to you, it could happen to me, it could happen to someone you know. It could happen in real life. So that is why it's called realistic fiction. And the story, Henry and Mudge, is realistic fiction because this is a story about a boy and a dog. And we know a lot of people that have pets, that have dogs, they even have cats. Some people have horses as pets. So it is very, very possible, it's very realistic to think that there is a story about a pet in every single one of us. So that sounds realistic. And this story could be realistic fiction. Henry and Mudge read aloud. This is page 15. Page 15, Henry and Mudge read aloud. I'm going to play the video. Awesome. So that's actually a really awesome question. What is your perfect pet? I know I have one. Actually, no, I have two. I have two little dogs with me, Porky and Boo, and they're adorable. I love them. So this is your assessment. Now, before I move on to explain the instructions, I want you to know that this is about the sequence of events. What happened first, what happened in the middle of the story, and what happened at the end. Now, I want to know what you think. I want to know what you got from the story, what you understood from the story. And I want you to try to do this, try to identify, right, the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story. And it's okay if you don't know the difference. It's okay if you don't know where's the beginning, where's the middle, where's the end. I just want you to try, and then we'll discuss it in the next class, okay? And I wrote the instructions here in Spanish. I'm going to read them. Usando el organizador gráfico, el estudiante debe dibujar en la primera caja un evento que ocurrió al principio del cuento. En la segunda caja debe haber un dibujo de un evento que ocurrió a mitad del cuento. Y en la última caja debe haber un dibujo de un evento que ocurrió al final del cuento. No tiene que escribir nada en las líneas. Se puede olvidar de las líneas. You can forget about the lines, just focus on the boxes. The first box is what happened at the beginning of the story. The second box, what happened in the middle of the story. And the third box, what happened at the end. Remember, I just want to know what you know, basically. I want to know if you got something, if you understood something from the story, from the story as a whole, okay? And then we'll discuss it and we'll compare your drawings with other students and we'll see if you guys understood the beginning, the middle, and the end. And we'll discuss everything with the story in the next class. Aquí tengo unas instrucciones adicionales. Dice, si no desea o no puede imprimir el papel, el flowchart, el estudiante puede hacerlo, pero en la libreta, ¿verdad? El estudiante lo hace en la libreta. Hace los dibujitos, se le saca la foto y se lo envía a mí, sí, a través de LMS, ¿ok? Ahora, pueden hacer el dibujo, pueden colorearlo, lo que ustedes quieran.